on the girl, and she went absolutely f***ing insane.
That was a clip, of course, from your movie, Jack, God Bless Ozzy Osbourne, and the dove that we just witnessed, a story about the dove, turned into the glorious, infamous bat. And the legend was born, Ozzy, of the bat biter. What have you got against bats?
Nothing.
Really?
I mean, I did some crazy stuff when I was out there, you know. I mean, that thing, I don't know, 25 years old, I still get asked about the damn bat. The bat is more famous than really.
Yes, but, I mean, you've got a stuffed bat. We found it here. Which
I don't buy this stuff. She buys it.
Sharon buys it. It was a permanent memento, really, of your
bat-eating days.
I've got lights made in the shape of bats in his office.
Well, I know it's not the bat, because it's still got its head on.
Head on it, yeah.
Oh, the super glue is wonderful.
That incident with the dove, with the record company executives, it told me so many things, because it was the glee that Sharon told the story. Showed me why you two are made for each other, because you actually loved him doing that. It was crazy, shocking, offensive, outrageous, all the things that I know from working with your wife on America's Got Talent. She is too. She's like you. I mean, Jack, am I wrong? Am I misreading the tea leaves?
My mum's a very strong-willed woman.
I mean, when you all go at each other, it must be unbelievable.
Mum is the boss.
Really?
Oh.
Is that understood?
Without a doubt.
That when it comes to it,
but hold on, you know, when you have your moments too, people, you know, we do. Well, because we get scared.
even now, though.
Wait, the whole thing is that like when
there was an Aussie temper tantrum sober. Match anything when he was
still when Dad gets, you know, upset. It's still a very earth-shaking occasion.
Really?
Dad likes to slam stomp around.
I mean, Ozzy, would you say you have, anger management issues?
Not really. I have a wife.
Well, because it was always, when we were kids, it was always, Mum was the main disciplinarian. But it was always, when we kind of stopped listening to her, it was, well, fine, I'll call your father, I'll wait till your father gets home. And then you kind of knew, you were like, oh, all right, this is getting serious now.
When he comes home.
If he comes home.
6 weeks later.
Obviously, one of the most memorable parts of the MTV series comes when you all discover that Sharon has got cancer. And you can see the effect this has on you all, because, as you say, I mean, she's the mother hen figure here, and you all have to come to terms with the possibility that you might lose her. What was that like, do you think, in reality for the family?
It was the strangest thing, because we were all on such a big high from the show being such a success, and everything had kind of completely blown up, and it was the beginning of summer, and Kelly and I were having a great time, and Kelly was doing she just got a record deal, so she was getting ready to move to New York and to do her album, and it was we were having a really good time, and then all of a sudden we get a phone call saying, your mom has colon cancer, and it's not looking good. And it was like the strangest curveball.
And obviously for you, it looked like in the series that you sort of fell apart a bit.
Oh, completely.
You couldn't deal with it.
I mean, every time she go for the treatment of chemotherapy, she'd have a seizure, and every time she had a seizure, every seizure would get worse than the last one. Till the end, I don't know what was keeping her arms and legs on her body. I mean, I remember towards the end of the treatment, I turned to the doctor and I said, "Doc, we got to do something." I was helpless. I didn't know. I couldn't do anything. That's what you feel when you put someone that you dearly love through something like chemotherapy, and the treatment is kind of worse than the disease, or it appears like. Because she literally be like the Exorcist, levitating,
When that was all happening, and you were all doing it on camera, was that a moment when you all thought, we've got to get these cameras away here? Why are we living our lives in this crazy soap opera when it's so serious?
They were very respectful. Because they were family at that point. We've been living with them for a year. So, the producers and the directors, there were times where they knew to be like, okay, we're going to shut down for a couple of days. And they would.
When we first got the diagnosis, one of the guys, Jonathan, comes up to me and he goes, "Shall we pack up?" It's a reality show. see what Sharon said, whatever she sees, her decision.
And I thought that if we'd have packed up, that the kids would know how sick I really was. So I just wanted it to be, business as usual.
Do you think Ozzy could have coped if you had died?
No. I can't cope when I can't find my socks in all, and my wife could run in the house and get all that. But you know what? You can't, with that whole period, you kind of got through the day whatever way you could,
Do you know what, Piers? I don't know whether I should have answered no to that, because if you would have asked me, will Ozzy ever get clean and sober, I would have said no. So you don't know.
Well, I reckon you could have gone either way, looking at the state you were in on the show, is that you could have, if the worst had happened, you may have snapped out of all the self-abuse, or you may have gone a lot worse.
That whole period of when she got cancer was like I was living in a bubble. Not just because I was drinking and getting stoned, but it's like when you get married, they don't give you a booklet to say, read this, any one of these 9 million things might happen, and when it comes to the cancer part, this is what you do. You have to make it up as you go along, and I just can't I can't believe that she survived all that, I mean,
well, the irony is that a few years later, it was a complete role reversal. You fall off this quad bike at your British home, you suffer horrendous injuries. I remember I was at a newspaper at the time, and people were saying Ozzy may have died in this, and if he hasn't, he's very seriously injured. What was that like for you, Sharon? Now the roles are reversed, and you've got to face up to the prospect of Ozzy very, very seriously injured.
Scared stiff. I was scared stiff of losing my husband and being on my own. That's what was terrifying me. I didn't want to be on my own. To me, our relationship had gone through so much, and it was just starting to get on an even road. And it would be, no, don't tell me now, after everything, I'm going to lose him.
Jack, what was it like for you?
No one really told me the severity of it. I asked Mum what happened. Oh, he fell off a bike, he knocked himself out, he broke his arm, and da-da-da-da. And I was like, oh, okay. So how bad is it? Like, oh, it's bad, but he's going to be okay. And it was constantly like this, because I couldn't leave because I was working. So I didn't really know the severity until I got to England and then started kind of seeing British newspapers and how bad it actually was, and reading things and going to see Dad in hospital. So I actually ended up getting really, really angry as a result of it.
The list of broken neck, broken collarbones, all your ribs were fractured. I broke 5 ribs once, the most painful thing I've ever had. Never mind the rest of it. A punctured lung, a collarbone cut into the main artery. They thought you may lose an arm. I mean, this is heavy duty. What were you thinking, Ozzy, as you were lying in hospital?
Go on and get out. I mean, hospital's not exactly a disco.
No.
It's like a lot of sick people.
Did you feel at that stage you were either one of the unluckiest people in the world or one of the luckiest? The Osbournes seem to have been blessed by extraordinary bad luck, and yet the fact you've come through all these things...
No, you can't say that, Piers.
You must be lucky.
If you weigh up for the bad luck and the good luck, we've had a remarkable...
No, it's always here or here. It's never mid-ground.
It's never boring, is it?
No.
Coming up, dramatic last words from Ozzy Osbourne's father.
He said to me, look, do something about your drinking and do something about your sleep.